I'd like to introduce you to Vengeance Producer Suite Metrum. Metrum is the ultimate kick drum generator plugin for all standard DAW systems. Metrum is extremely flexible and allows you to create the perfect kick drum for your tracks and comes with a large library of instruments covering almost all situations. But the real power of Metrum lies in the editing possibilities and the concept behind Metrum. Each sound within Metrum can be created from a virtual oscillator and from 3 sampled layers. There is a large library of these layers included within Metrum, but of course you can create your own library as well. This allows you to build very powerful sounds easily and with total flexibility, as each layer can be fine-tuned to fit your tunes perfectly. The first layer at the top is the oscillator layer, and this is the body of your kick drum. It sounds much deeper than a simple sampled kick drum, and you can fine-tune it to your track, obviously. The 3 layers below are the sampled layers. And to demonstrate these, I've muted the 3 sample layers, and I'm going to bring them in one at a time whilst playing a simple kick drum pattern. So the power of Metrum is in the fact that you have 4 layers that you combine together to create truly impressive kick drums. Of course, you can go in and fine-tune each of these layers, and that's the true power of Metrum. But before we go into the detailed editing of Metrum, I'll run my track and show you some of the library of kick drums available to you straight out of the box. So as you can hear, there are an amazing number of sounds for you to run through and see if they fit into your track. Now I'm going to build a sound from scratch. The easiest way to do this is to click on the memory button and in the pop-up window choose Initialize Preset. So now our preset has been initialized, and the only layer in there is a default oscillator. So I'll solo my drum track and play it. And now I'm going to add 3 different layers and adjust the panning and the volume of them and the tuning. So as you see, just by loading different presets from our Attack Presets folder, which is a large library full of different samples for you to use in your own sounds, we've created an original bass drum, and it only took us a few seconds. Now, of course, we have all these parameters that we can edit. If we look at the oscillator, we can adjust the volume. The punch, I'll solo it and show you this. And the great thing with Metrum is you get to see what you are editing in the icon window. So for example, there we can see that the punch is affecting the attack of the sound. Spike also affects the attack of the sound and works, to my ears, much like a compressor. Then we have shape. Which is adding some overtones. And then we have drive, which is a form of distortion. So those are the editing features for the oscillator. And we have more editing features for the layers. These are fundamentally the same, except we don't have shape and drive, but we have a low-pass filter and a high-pass filter. When editing existing kick drums or creating your own, you have the option to use the Randomize button, which is here at the top of the screen. In the system settings, you can see what will be randomized, and you can select all things to be randomized, or you can deselect items from the list here. You can also choose to randomize individual elements by right-mouse clicking above them. So I'll play a simple pattern, and I'll randomize while the track is playing. Another great feature of Metrum are all the modulation possibilities. At its simplest level, each patch has the 3 GUI modifier buttons assigned to certain parameters, so you can simply modify the sound just by turning these 3 knobs. I'll show this by loading a patch and playing it. But of course, the modulation possibilities go much deeper, and for this we have the modulation matrix. On the left of this page you will see the source, and this is the modifier. And on the right you see the target, and this is the destination. And in the middle you can choose the amount with which the source will modify the target. This can be negative and positive. You can choose your source by clicking on a slot, and likewise you choose your target by clicking on a slot in the target section. So this is where you will set up the modulation of your sound. Metrum also has a comprehensive effects section. The effects are here on the left. These include a distortion, a bit crusher, stereo matrix, stereo delay, room reverb, gated reverb, and a 2-band equalizer. And each of these can be assigned to individual layers or the oscillator. Also available to you in Metrum are the 4 envelopes. The first is the main envelope, and this is linked to the 4 knobs on the front panel. But you can go in and draw your envelope on the screen here, the attack, the decay, the sustain, and the release. You can also reset it here and choose a linear or a logarithmic scale. Next we have the amplitude envelope, and this works on individual layers. So you can define different envelopes for different layers. Then you have the pitch envelope. Once again, this works on the oscillator and the 3 layers independently. So as we can see, the oscillator has a pitch envelope that is sweeping down. I'll play my track and modify this envelope in real time. The next envelope we have is the modulation envelope. And the modulation envelope can be assigned to various parameters in the modulation matrix. After using sampled kick drums, there is a huge difference when implementing a Metrum kick drum in your track. First of all, you can fine-tune it perfectly to suit your track. You can create brand new sounds that suit your track perfectly, rather than just having to do with a sound that you happen to have. And more importantly, the sound is incredible. It can go as deep as any other kick drum I've heard, and it's so flexible that you will never be stuck looking for a great kick drum again.